Golf-tease-by-Joshua-Kappelman. Dedication to my friends, who I mostly met during the 1990s in South Central Illinois. Without you, my humor may have gone unnoticed by the masses, and to my wife for putting up with both my humor as well as my friends.
Introduction. In the mid-1970s, beneath the verdant canopy of Acadia National Park in Maine, the seeds of a new life were sown within the weathered confines of an old steamy yellow Ford van. Within its cramped quarters, Earl and Florence Kapp, newlyweds navigating the uncharted waters of matrimony, found themselves enveloped in a cocoon of dreams and uncertainties. Freshly adorned with academic accolades, they were on a romantic vacation before venturing forth from the bustling streets of Chicago, drawn by the siren call of small-town simplicity and the promise of Beanfield, Illinois. Florence's time in Chicago had been as colorful as her red hair. She lived with so many siblings that it was difficult to capture an accurate headcount of them all. She once had her dog shot while she walked it. She was one of only a few Caucasian students in her entire high school, but Florence welcomed the diversity and ranked near the top of her class, once even receiving written commendation from the mayor of Chicago for her academic prowess. She was happy to go start a new life and family in Beanfield, but likely would have been just as happy to remain in Chicago. It was her husband Earl that yearned for a simpler life. He was an avid bicyclist who wanted to wear a perm in his hair, in spite of both his gender and his heterosexuality, and to wear only spandex over the rest of his entire body. He desired to ride his bicycle on the wooded trails and secluded country roads of Beanfield, dodging only the occasional deer or dog, instead of the urban sprawl of Chi-Town. Beanfield, a quaint and predominantly Catholic agricultural community nestled in the bosom of nature, welcomed the Kapps with open arms, its embrace as warm and comforting as a woolen blanket on a winter's night. Situated in the shadow of Shady Pines Golf Course and Country Club, a vast oasis of emerald fairways and azure skies, the town exuded an air of tranquil elegance that whispered the promises of a brighter future. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and gold, the Kapps settled into the rhythm of their new lives. Earl and Florence, beacons of optimism in a sea of uncertainty, found solace in the simplicity of their surroundings, their laughter echoing like the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Together, they carved out a niche for themselves in the tapestry of Beanfield's communal fabric, their love story interwoven with the threads of the town's collective history. Yet, amidst the tapestry of tranquility that draped over Beanfield like a shimmering veil, a shadow lurked in the recesses of its cobblestone streets. It was here, in the heart of this picturesque hamlet, that Mountain Kapp took his first breath, his arrival heralded by the whispers of fate and the soft caress of destiny's hand. Mountain, a child born of multiple contradictions, found himself torn between two worlds, one of privilege and prestige from being raised in a neighborhood that the locals of Beanfield dubbed as country club adjacent, and the other of hardship and loneliness. The other children of Beanfield were mostly legacies born of families who had been in Beanfield for generations and looked at Mountain as if he were an outsider, and often liked to make fun of the unusual moniker that his hippie parents had adorned him with. They looked upon Mountain with both contempt and confusion, as if his genitalia grew from soil planted within his ear. The Kapp parents also had a little girl a few years after they had Mountain, and by then, having outgrown their hippie stage, adorned her with a proper name. She was named Jenny, and all those that knew her affectionately referred to her as John Nay, even her parents. She had straight long hair, a persistent natural tan, and an athletic physique. She was accepted by the locals of Beanfield much better than her older brother ever was. Better than her parents were too. Eventually, as if monopolizing almost every good gene in the Kapp family tree, it was determined that her IQ was also superior to all except a very select few individuals. Years later, she would become the captain of the Beanfield High School cheerleading squad, and after yet another decade or so, the town doctor. Along the way she earned many other accolades as well, ranging from high school valedictorian to homecoming queen. But Mountain resented the fact that his sister always fit in. He refused to call her Ja-nay-nay, and thought the nickname was stupid and quite possibly racially insensitive. Many years later, he would still resent her. He could not believe that his little sister refused to prescribe him painkillers, quaaludes, or the much-coveted pharmaceutical-grade cocaine. Mountain was a lone wolf prowling the outskirts of civilization. He navigated the labyrinthine alleyways of Beanfield's underbelly with the same grace as a drunken pole dancer, but with the stealth of a predator. Despite the best efforts of his doting parents and the watchful gaze of the town's wise elders, Mountain remained a tempestuous force of nature, his restless spirit defying the constraints of societal norms and familial expectations. It was as if he were a storm cloud gathering on the horizon. His presence and his future alike were electrifying and ominous in equal measure. And so it was, against the backdrop of Beanfield's tranquil streets and whispering pines, that Mountain Cap stood on the precipice of adolescence, his fate hanging in the balance like a delicate spider's web. With a mixture of both trepidation and curiosity coursing throughout his veins, he was about to embark on a journey fraught with peril and possibility. A journey that would test the very limits of his resolve and reshape the contours of his destiny. For Mountain Cap was about to discover the joys of drinking booze. He was also about to discover substance abuse, as well as morally loose women and their fabled poop hole loopholes. And Mountain Cap would soon also discover his true passion in life: golf.